Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're looking into something that feels less sci-fi and more, well, just normal work life these days. The smart workplace.
Absolutely, especially with how things have shifted, flexible working, hybrid models. It's changing fast.
Right. How we actually interact with our offices, physical or digital.
Exactly. And understanding what's driving that change is pretty crucial.
And that's what we're doing today. We've got this really detailed report, gives us a great snapshot of the global smart workplace market for 2025. And honestly, it paints quite a picture.
The numbers alone are, well, significant. And the growth they're projecting, it really shows the momentum here.
Okay, let's dive in then. So for 2025, the global market, it's estimated at, get this, USD 232.87 billion.
Wow, yeah, that's already a huge number. Shows businesses are really investing now.
They really are in tech to make workplaces, more efficient, smarter.
But here's where it gets really interesting, right? Look ahead to 2033.
Yeah.
That number jumps to USD 774.04 billion.
Whoa. Okay, that's massive growth. Over what, 8 years?
Exactly. It works out to a compound annual growth rate, a CAGR, of 16.2% starting from 2025. That kind of sustained growth, it points to a real fundamental shift.
16% year on year.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's huge. So what's the engine behind this? The report points to a couple of key technologies really taking off.
Right. The Internet of Things, IoT, and artificial intelligence, AI.
The usual suspects, kind of.
Well, they are the building blocks, aren't they? IoT is like all the connected sensors and devices grabbing data.
And AI is the brain analyzing it, automating things.
Pretty much, providing insights, making processes smoother. That's the idea.
Okay, so context for these numbers. The report uses 2024 as the base year,
Uh-huh.
and the forecast runs 2025 to 2033. But it also looks back, right, 2021 to 2024.
Yeah, that historical view is important. It shows the trajectory, the trends that were already building up to these projections, gives it grounding.
And it's not just tech trends. The report even mentions the impact of Trump's tariff war.
It does, which is interesting, right? It shows how these big geopolitical or economic things actually, influence tech adoption on the
But
ground.
it's all connected. Nothing happens in a vacuum.
Exactly. These market shifts are tangled up with everything else.
Okay, so where is this happening most? The report breaks it down by region, and the differences are quite stark.
Yeah, you really need that regional view. Different places have different tech levels, different economies, different reasons for adopting this stuff.
Right, so North America, they've got the biggest slice right now, over 40%.
That's right. In 2025, looking at about USD 86.16 billion, and still growing at a healthy clip, like 14.9% CAGR projected through 2033.
Why so dominant, do you think?
Well, several things probably. You've got mature tech infrastructure, a culture that often adopts tech early. Lots of big tech companies headquartered there pushing things forward.
Makes sense. And within that, the U.S. is obviously huge, like almost 68 billion in 2025.
USD 67.98 billion, yeah, with
Yeah.
a 14.7% CAGR. But Canada's strong too, over 10 billion.
And a slightly higher growth rate, 15.7%.
And Mexico's not far behind either, nearly 8 billion and 15.4% growth. So yeah, strong across the board there.
Okay, across the pond to Europe, second biggest, over 30% share.
Yep. Around USD 67.53 billion in 2025, growing at about 15.2% CAGR. Similar sort of drivers as North America, really.
Strong tech base, digitalization push.
Right. And maybe a stronger government push in some areas.
Right.
Sustainability focus, too, that helps drive smart building tech.
Yeah, good point. And within Europe, UK and Germany look like key players. UK at, what, 11.35 billion?
And a really strong 16% CAGR there. Germany's bigger in size, over 13 billion.
That's slightly slower growth, 15.4%. Then you have France, about 6 billion. Russia's still significant at over 10 billion, despite, well, everything.
That UK growth is interesting, though, isn't it?
It is. Maybe that reflects, I don't know, a focus on fintech and service industries adopting tech quickly.
Could be. The different rates definitely show different national priorities and maybe economic conditions playing out.
Now let's swing over to Asia Pacific, APAC. About 23% share, so smaller than Europe.
Around $56 billion in 2025.
But the growth rate, fastest in the world.
By far, a sizzling 19.2% CAGR projected.
Wow. Okay, what's lighting the fire there?
It's a potent mix. You've got rapid urbanization, huge smart city projects, governments pouring money into tech and infrastructure.
And a massive, increasingly tech-savvy population and workforce.
Exactly. China's leading the charge in market size, obviously. Over 23 billion.
18.7% growth. But India, Smaller market size, 5.6 billion maybe.
Yeah, 5.59 billion. But the growth rate, 21.1%.
That's incredible.
It really is. Reflects that booming economy, rapid digitalization. Japan and South Korea are strong too, both growing fast, around 18%.
So APAC is definitely the region to watch for sheer speed of change.
No question. It's reshaping the global picture.
Okay, quick stops elsewhere. South America.
Over 5% share. About 8.85 billion in 2025, growing at 16.6% CAGR, so quite strong growth.
Brazil leading there.
Yeah, Brazil around 3.8 billion, 17.2% growth. Argentina smaller, 1.5 billion, but similar growth, 17.5%.
So growing awareness of the benefits there, maybe. Catching up.
Seems like it. Increasing internet access, cloud solutions making it easier to jump in, perhaps.
Middle East, smaller share, like 2%.
Around that, but the market size is surprisingly high for that share, over $9 billion.
USD, 9.31 billion, yeah. And growing at 16.7%. Saudi Arabia and UAE leading.
Right, Saudi over 3 billion, UAE nearly 2 billion, both around 17% growth.
Why so high a value for a smaller share? Big projects.
Likely those major government-led smart city initiatives and economic diversification plans, big, ambitious projects driving investment.
Makes sense. And finally, Africa.
Smallest share, around 1%, about 5.1 billion in 2025. Slower growth too, around 12.1% CAGR.
South Africa is the biggest market.
Yeah, 1.8 billion, 13% growth. Nigeria smaller, 0.4 billion, similar growth.
So still developing there. Infrastructure may be a challenge.
Yeah. Likely factors like infrastructure, economic disparities might slow the pace compared to other regions, but it's growing, often with solutions focused on very specific local needs.
Okay, so it's truly global, but definitely uneven. North America leads now. APAC's the speedster.
Exactly. You have to understand those regional nuances if you're operating in this space. One size doesn't fit all.
Right. So let's get into the why now. What are the core drivers pushing this whole smart workplace thing forward?
These are the underlying needs making companies invest, right?
Yeah. First up, the report says advanced security systems, protecting data, protecting the physical space. That seems fundamental.
Absolutely critical. Smart tech offers things like AI spotting threats, better access control, constant monitoring. It's much more proactive security.
And secondly, the demand for flexible and remote work. That's huge now, isn't it?
It's reshaped everything. You need the tech for seamless communication, collaboration, accessing stuff from anywhere. Smart workplaces enable that hybrid model to actually work.
Thirdly, energy efficiency and sustainability. That feels like a growing corporate priority everywhere.
It really is. Smart buildings can massively cut energy use, automated lights, HVAC, plus tracking environmental impact. It saves money and fits ESG goals.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And the report has that cool example, right? Hyundai and Seoul.
Oh yeah, the DLE delivery robot and the parking robot.
Launched just recently, June 2024.
Yeah.
It shows IoT and AI not as abstract ideas, but like actual robots doing stuff in the office.
Exactly. Automating routine tasks, making things smoother, maybe even improving the employee experience day to day. It makes it real.
But it's not all smooth sailing, is it? The report mentions things holding it back too. Restraints.
Always good to look at the challenges. It's never just a straight line up.
And the big one seems to be cost. The initial investment.
Yeah, setting up a full, smart workplace, hardware, software integration, it can be a significant upfront cost, especially tough for smaller businesses, SMEs.
The ROI might take time to show up, makes it a harder sell maybe.
Exactly. Budget-conscious companies might hesitate.
And tied into that, data security and privacy concerns. Even though security is also a driver.
It's a double-edged sword, isn't it?
Yeah.
All these connected devices generate vast amounts of data. That raises legitimate worries about breaches, misuse, privacy.
So building trust is key. Robust security, clear policies.
Absolutely essential. Transparency helps drive adoption.
Okay, let's look forward then. Key trends shaping the future of this market.
Where is it heading next? What are the emerging patterns?
Well, no surprise, more IoT and AI. But the focus seems to be shifting towards enhancing automation and productivity even further.
Right. As the tech gets better, smarter algorithms, more sophisticated sensors, the potential for streamlining work, automating more tasks, getting better insights just keeps growing. Big productivity gains are the promise.
And that flexible hybrid work trend isn't going away, is it? Report says demand continues to grow.
Seems like it's becoming the preferred model for many. So the push is for even better collaboration tools, tech that really bridges the physical and virtual office.
Making that experience seamless, equitable.
Exactly. No matter where you log in from.
And here's one I found interesting. More focus on employee well-being within these hybrid setups.
Oh, yes. Things like heart lighting mimicking daylight.
Advanced air purification. Stuff aimed at making the workspace healthier, more comfortable, whether that's at home or a central office.
It shows a growing understanding that the environment impacts satisfaction, productivity, health. Investing in well-being is investing in your people, right?
Totally. It's moving beyond just pure efficiency. Okay, let's break down the market segments quickly. This gives a clear picture of where the action is. Components, deployment, products.
Yeah, the segmentation tells you what people are buying, how they're using it, and who is buying it. Really useful detail.
So component outlook first.
Yeah.
Solution. The actual software, IoT devices, AI, cloud platforms that dominates.
Makes sense. You need the core tech first before anything else works. That's the foundation.
But the service segment, installation, maintenance, support, consulting, that's the fastest growing.
Also makes sense. This stuff gets complex. You need experts to install it, run it, keep it updated, help you figure out how to use it best. So service demand grows alongside the tech adoption.
Okay, deployment mode. How it's delivered on premises still holds the biggest share.
Yeah, especially for industries like finance or healthcare that want tight control over data, maybe have heavy regulations. Security and customization are key there.
But cloud is expanding rapidly.
Oh yeah, scalability, flexibility, often lower upfront costs. That aligns with the general shift to cloud everywhere. It's becoming the go-to for many.
Product outlook. What are people actually buying?
Yeah.
Security systems, biggest share, no surprises there.
Safety first, right? Physical and digital, always a priority.
But fastest growing product, smart lighting.
That's interesting. Ties back to that energy efficiency and the well-being trend we just talked about. Saves money, makes people feel better, and potentially work better. Compelling combo.
Enterprise size. Who's buying? Large enterprises have the biggest share currently.
They have the resources, the scale. Makes sense they'd lead in adopting comprehensive systems for efficiency gains.
But the fastest growth is coming from SMEs, smaller and medium businesses.
That's exciting. Shows the tech is becoming more accessible, more affordable. SMEs are seeing the benefits for digital transformation, cost savings too. It's democratizing.
Good to see. Finally, end user. Which industries? BFSI, banking, financial services, insurance, largest share.
Again, regulation, security needs, efficiency drivers are huge in finance. Smart tech helps them meet those demands.
And the fastest growing end user segment.
Healthcare and life sciences.
Ah, okay. Need for better patient care, operational efficiency, handling complex regulations.
Exactly. The potential for smart tech to improve outcomes, streamline how hospitals or labs work, ensure compliance, that's driving huge investment there.
Okay, quick recap of segments. Solutions and on-prem lead now, but services and cloud grow fastest. Security is biggest product, smart lighting fastest growing. Large firms buy most. SMEs catching up fastest. BFSI dominates. Healthcare grows quickest.
Got it. Yeah, that paints a really detailed picture of the market's internal dynamics.
So just circling back to the regions before we finish. North America, biggest market in 2025. Advanced tech, early adoption.
Yep, that head start really shows in their market share.
But Asia Pacific,
Yeah,
that's the one to watch for speed. Highest projected growth.
absolutely. Rapid urbanization, big tech investments. They're really driving the future expansion of this market globally.
Okay, so we've covered a lot. This report on the 2025 Global Smart Workplace Market. Impressive size, even more impressive growth ahead, fueled by IoT and AI.
Big regional differences, key drivers like security and flexibility, trends towards well-being.
It's been a real deep dive.
We have definitely unpacked a lot. It gives a pretty clear view of where things stand and where they seem to be heading.
So a final thought maybe for you listening.
Yeah.
How might all these big trends trickle down? How could they affect not just giant corporations, but maybe smaller businesses, maybe your own work life in the next few years?
Yeah, what new challenges might pop up, but also what new opportunities could arise from this rapidly changing way we work.
Worth thinking about. And of course, if you need the nitty-gritty details on specific products or regions,
The full report has all that granular data. This was the overview, but there's a lot more depth available if you need it for specific planning or strategy.
definitely. Okay, that's all for this deep dive. Thanks for tuning in.